Hello everyone, this is Megan Hullett, and for this demonstration video I am going to be taking you through how to research something online. Now, I'm not going to be diving into that deep well that is academic research with all the databases and things like that, though I am aware that you are all perfectly capable of doing something like that should you need to. What I'm going to be doing today is going to be just taking you through a regular internet search. Sometimes these searches can be a little bit difficult and a little bit overwhelming when you're looking for something that needs to be done or some kind of work or something like that. Internet searches can be used for really anything and everything. Recipes, how-to videos, such as this one, or let's say you need some work done around your house. So today I'm going to be using my Google search engine just to start us off. We're going to be looking for how to make bread at home. Oh my goodness, my spelling needs some work. Accidental capitalizations. Now, I don't know about you friends, but I am going through a very big do-it-yourself kind of a thing, especially when it comes to baking and carbs and things like that. So I typed in how to make bread at home right up here in the search engine, and the first thing that pops up is a set of recipes. These 3 recipes are actually part of Google's AI generator, Gemini through Google does a lot of preemptive showing you of the recipes and things that have gotten a lot of great reviews on Google. As you can see, the very first 3 recipes that pop up are a 5-star review, 4.8, and another 4.8 star review. Should you require more than those 3 recipes, or maybe you want a specific type of bread, you can click on this show more button and that'll pop up with all of these different recipes. Some of them are going to be 5 stars, some of them are going to be 4 stars. It just depends on how many people have left reviews and if they are positive reviews or not. Now, for this video, we're actually going to skip the AI generated responses and go down to the actual search results. Now, one of the things I love about a good Google search is that anything and everything that is on the internet is at your fingertips, quite literally. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll through and try to find some of these recipes that might actually work. Now, you see we've got some YouTube shorts right here of how-to videos, even one from Facebook, some social media shorts. We can see, I'm actually going to click on this very first recipe up here with this 5-star review. Now, that does take me, of course, to the website with this review on it. Now, if you're like me, you are going to have some of these ads pop up. You can just click them. I'll click the little X's at the top to make them go away. And you just got to kind of scroll down a little bit to get through to the actual ingredients. Now, I love that it gives you exactly like what temperature the water should be for this. But one of the things that does kind of alarm me is that there aren't very many measurements. There aren't any measurements on what kind of ingredients you need. Now, granted, that may be farther down in the recipe. I do love that it's giving these tips and these pro tips and things like that, like this right here. Because if you're like me, I don't make a habit of making bread by myself. I can go to the grocery store and buy it. But if I wanted to make bread by myself, this would be kind of cool to see, oh, well, I need to use fresh yeast. I can't have expired yeast, or a way to make it quicker if I don't want to wait the 24 hours. So like I was saying, I love how it's showing these tips right here. And it even talks about needing a certain kind of mixer, which is great. Again, if you haven't made bread before, you might not have the tools or the machinery that you might think you would need to make the bread. Now, just like with any internet search, the first result is going to be great, but we don't want to put all of our eggs in this one basket, as it were. So we're going to go back a page, hopefully, if it works. Okay, never mind. Scratch that. We're just going to open a new tab. That way we have our same bread recipe right here, but let's say we want to try a new recipe or a different type of bread. So we're just going to type in the same exact thing, how to make bread at home. Again, my spelling could use some work. We're back to the same set of search results. Now you'll notice that it did pop up the one that we have used before, on our search result before the AI generated responses. So we're going to scroll all the way past this, down past the video section, because Google is awesome like that. And it does show you these how-to videos. It does include them in the search results. So we are going to actually find another website to go to, because for the parameters of this assignment and this research video that we're going to do, I want us to see that there are more than one viable resources. Remember, we've got our first tab, our original tab right up here. So we have that first recipe if we wanted to use it, but let's go and see if we can find a secondary recipe. So we have scrolled all the way past the YouTube videos, past the AI generated things. We're going to just go to this very next one, this 4.8 star review. Right here we can see that it does have a 4.8 star review. So we're going to check this one out. This one looks like it's for a fancy artisan bread, but it's only 4 ingredients. So like with the first one, it brings up the recipe and you can scroll down. It gives us an image of what it should look like right here. So let's hope if you're baking a baking whiz, I should say, it might end up looking like that. But according to this, we only need 4 ingredients, which is a lot less than we needed in the other one. And it does... I will say you have to scroll pretty far on this one to find the recipe. It tells us what the artisan bread is first and then reasons why to love it. I'm not necessarily seeing that ad. It does have a link to the creator's YouTube video about how she created the bread. And then if you are more of a print version person, here is the printed out version. Now this is looking like the ingredients recipe. We need bread flour, instant yeast, salt, and water. And it says we can optionally include cornmeal, which I have never thought about putting in bread before. That might be interesting. Does it? Okay, so it's showing us with pictures what we should do step by step. But where is the ingredients? I'm not seeing a measurements. Like with the first one, I'm not really seeing the measurements on of how much the ingredients we should need, and that is the whole recipe. It looks like it does tell us step by step, shape into 2 loaves and then bake until golden brown, blah blah blah. But again, with me, if it doesn't start off the way that I think it should, I'm probably not going to use it. So the fact that there aren't like specifically listed and labeled out measurements is kind of turning me off from this recipe. So once again, we can save this tab and go back up to a new tab. I am a multi-tab kind of person. If you are not a multi-tab person, you can literally just click the back arrow and it will take you back to the search results. But like I said, I'm a multi-tab person. I want to keep things just in case I need them. I'm probably a little bit of a hoarder in that respect, but we are going to search one more time how to make bread at home. Now, that was pretty quick, so I'm going to go back and show you again. If you go in, what I love about Google, I know I've said a lot, I love a lot of things about Google, but one of the things that I love about using the Google search engine is that it'll show you your recent searches, right? So I can just go, I don't even have to type it in again. I can just click on the search that I want. I'm going to scroll past the ones that I've used before. Google also turns them purple once you've used them instead of the original blue. And I'm just going to go to this next recipe, the next one that pops up. This is a 4.5 star one, so it's not the highest ranking, but it should still work well, you know. All right, this feels more blog style than the other two did. Granted, all 3 of these results that I have found on these recipes have been from blog type websites. So let's see if this one is actually going to include the measurements. Again, we've got another YouTube video link, how-to video. Haha! Victory at last. She includes specific measurements. Way to go, you. I want to know what her name is. Kristen. Way to go, Kristen. Thank you so much for finally using specific measurements. It even tells you the prep time. This is feeling more of a traditional recipe to me, because when I think of a recipe, I think of it's listed everything out. The prep time, the cook time, the total time that it's going to take, the amount of ingredients specifically measured, and then the instructions following step by step. This feels like what I would find in like a recipe book or a cookbook, maybe even one of those old-fashioned recipe boxes that could be passed down from generation to generation. So this, I think, is the recipe that I would use personally in my life. But it does, I'm super excited that it has this specific measurements on these specific instructions. Like, she's even bolded the ingredients that you need here in her instructions on how to do it and what to add and when to add and all that jazz. And even down here, she does in her notes section and say, you want to make sure your starter yeast is fresh. If it's old, it's not going to rise. And I love that. And then at the bottom of her website, it does include other recipes that she could do along with these hyperlinks, which leans into that blog type feel of what she's doing here on this website. All right, my friends, this has been how to use Google for a random Google search. Thank you so much for your attention, and I hope you all have a great day.